Hello everybody and welcome to WEBfactory 2010 tutorials. In the previous video we have talked about the trending control at design time, meaningly in Smart Editor. Now in this second part of this video we're gonna talk about the trending control at runtime. So I'm gonna press the run button in Smart Editor and I'm gonna get back after our visualization has been loaded. Here we are at runtime with the WEBfactory Trending Control. As you can see, our trending control looks a little bit too empty, so let's populate this trending with signals. And to do that, I'm gonna load a configuration. And I'm gonna use this third button, the load configuration button, to load an existing configuration from our database. So I'm gonna select the trend 3 and click load. And as you can see, the configuration has been loaded in our control. And just to demonstrate how we save a configuration, I'm gonna click the save button and I'm gonna save this configuration under this name. And I'm gonna click save, and if we go to load configuration, we're gonna see our configuration saved in the database. The next option we're gonna talk about is the range selection dialog. This range selection dialog allows us to switch from online mode to historical data mode. Now, we can only see the signals which have logging enabled in historical mode. When in online mode, the range selection dialog will display the options of viewing online data. And we have the display range, which is the time range of the graphic. It can be set to days, hours, or minutes. We have the Start Now minus option, which sets the starting time of the graphic with minutes, hours, or days after the normal start point. And we also have the Get Values for Last option, which displays the historical values for the last minutes, hours, or days that we select over here. The historical mode means any other option besides the online mode from here. And we have From To option, which allows us to select a specific date and hour to start from and to end the period with another specific day and hour. We can always select a whole year to view data from, or a whole month, a whole week, or a whole day. Besides these options, we can always have a fast way to see the yesterday data and the current day data. Now, as we have loaded the configuration in our first step of this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to manually load signals into the trending control at runtime. And for this, I'm going to go into the settings options and I'm going to delete all the existing signals. To add signals, we're going to use this add button over here, and this add button is going to open the signal browser window. And this window will allow us to select different signals and import them in our trending control. And as you can see, we have frequency 1 and frequency 2 signals selected, and I'm gonna change the color for frequency 1 because I wanted to see it better, and I'm gonna press OK. Now you can see our two signals are displayed in our trending control, and this is how easy it is to select and import signals into trending control. Now we have our signals loaded inside the WEBfactory trending control, but let's try and put those signals on separate axes. So let's head in the Change Settings window and hit the Axis button. This will open the Axis Configuration button, and as you can see, we have the Y-axis defined in the Axis Configuration, and we will add another axis which will be called Y1. Now we can add a title for this axis, we can change the color, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it red to see it better. We can make it auto scale or fixed range, but we're gonna leave it on auto scale for now. We can choose to make this Y1 axis a logarithmic axis or a scientific axis, and to put it on the left or right, and I'm gonna choose right for now. Now the axis is created and I'm gonna assign a signal to this Y1 axis, so I'm gonna go into the axis column over here and select the the Y1 axis for the frequency 2 signal and press OK. Now, as you can see, the Y-axis is displayed on the right side of the graph and our signal is represented on this axis. Now, we're gonna wait and see when the signal changes its value, and as you can see, it happened right now. Now our axis has been defined and you can see the values from 0 to 1 because this 0 is the previous value of the signal up to this point when it became 1. Now we can further configure our axis, and I'm gonna do that, and we're gonna play with the y-axis. We're gonna make it logarithmic. Now you can see the y-axis will represent our frequency 1 signal on a logarithmic scale and a logarithmic graphic. We're gonna do the same, but this time I'm gonna select scientific for the y-axis, and you will see that the y-axis will have scientific values for the frequency 1 signal. Another thing that we can set up in our WEBfactory Trending Control is the cursor for one of our signals. And we're gonna go into the settings option and we're gonna hit the cursor button. Now here we are in the cursor configuration window, and as you can see we have no cursor defined, so I'm gonna click the add button and create a cursor. Now this cursor will have the name cursor1, which is fine for us. We're gonna use a signal color, and this means that the color of the cursor, which you can see now here is selected black, is gonna be the color of our signal, meaningly the color that the line is drawn with in our trending control for our signal. So if the signal name that we will use for this cursor is frequency 1 and it is yellow, the color of this cursor will be yellow. But I'm gonna uncheck use signal colors and I'm gonna make this cursor be green. Now you can see here we have a lot of options for displaying tooltip or for label, and I'm gonna check all these options for our label, and I'm gonna uncheck all these options for our tooltip because we don't want only the cursor name to be available as a tooltip. We can set the label background opacity to make it more opaque or less opaque, and we can display the label border, and I'm gonna uncheck this because I don't want any label border for my cursor. And I'm gonna hit OK, and let's see what happens. Now you can see that this cursor attached to our frequency 1 signal, which is green, can be moved on the graphic, and it will display the exact value of our signal at the point that our cursor exists on the graphic. So we can always see the value of our signal and the time of the update if we drag the cursor on our graphic. This is everything for today. I'm gonna meet you next time when we're gonna talk about more interesting and cool stuff in WEBfactory 2010.